Hey, this is Leslie with Comfortable Shoes Studio, and this is Art Journaling 19, Adding Shapes with White Paint. So in this video, I am using up the last of, this is a continuation from the previous video, where I use up the last of, the bits and bobs and the drips and drabs of my paint tubes. I've cut them apart, and in this first section, I'm using the last of a nice dark purple, and I'm adding stripes and blocks. And that's just, again, I'm just using up the end of that paint, getting it onto the pages, adding a little bit more color here and there. And these pages, if you haven't seen the previous video, are pages from a 1980s school workbook and from a 1971, I think it was a Good Housekeeping, some magazines that came with my house. Funnily enough, there's a whole box of them. These will end up as pages in a junk journal or as, um, you know, collage elements. There's another one that I'm peeling open. Got a broken handle from a broken paintbrush. This is a nice blue color. So you notice I'm just working super randomly with all of these pages. There's not a whole lot of like planning here. I'm just getting this paint down onto these pages, covering up some of the words, the numbers, the background, and I'm just building some color into it, obscuring some of the stuff that was there. But it still peeks through because these are pretty transparent paints. These metal tubes are pretty hard to wiggle open. That one was trash. I'm just brushing out my brush a little bit, getting some of that paint off of it. This is a tube of white that was all dried out. So this big tube of Galleria paint is pretty dried out. There's still a lot of good paint in it, but because, you know, it is what it is, um, it is starting to dry. So I am just sort of randomly placing circles onto the page with this white, which is a pretty dense white. I'm also doing U shapes and curves. And so it does block out quite a bit. Um, Here we go, just getting a little squiggle on there, a couple of little circles in the areas that stripes. So this is one of the things that you can do if you don't have a jelly plate and you are interested in creating collage papers. Like, you can just grab a brush, um, and some paint and scrape and paint it on there, and then grab a wide brush and do this kind of thing. And you might use this as an entire background, or you might grab chunks of it and collage. Like maybe that circle is something that you cut out and you use to draw emphasis, or maybe that narrow circle. Um, who knows? Like, you might use some of those pieces in your collages. Maybe you cut out one of these circles and you write a word inside of it. Maybe you cut out this swirly bit, apply it to your page, and then write on top of that white acrylic with a Sharpie, a ballpoint pen, a gel pen. You know, there are lots of things you can write on this with. Maybe you're gonna take those circles and use it as a way to an edge. Um, Maybe you want to put a skull on there. I paint skulls on everything. The skull is it's an easy it's a go-to for me. We've all got skulls. Some people find them a little creepy. I like them. I thought the skull kind of matched the headline on this page. The hidden anger can wreck your marriage. 1971. So the family, the little magazines there for women haven't changed all that much. So yeah, there's another skull. So I might cut that skull out and put it on as a front piece for a page. Or maybe do a little infinity symbol thing. Number 8. I was big on circles this day. Lines are always great because I could cut that out with the white in the middle with some blue in the background of it, and I could use that as a title or a heading. I could write a phrase in the middle of it. Just kind of get some brushy squiggles here. I like doing long lines of things because I can use that as an edge on a page. Again, another long line, kind of scribbly, circly things. And this doesn't, it's very much sped up. I was probably doing this for, 45 minutes or so before I got done. But it's sped up to about 12 minutes long here. So I could have mixed the white with the various colors. I could have worked the white in while everything else was wet. But the whole point of this session where I was working was to use up all of this paint that I didn't have enough of. Like, I couldn't even squeeze the paint out of that tub anymore. I had to scrape it out to get at the end of it. So I couldn't use it for jelly printing, and it's not particularly useful for actually painting either, because you don't really want to dip a dirty brush into your tub. So some of this stuff I'm just doing like areas with the white. Some of it I'm doing little blocks, obviously the skulls and whatnot, circles, swirls. And I might still jelly print on top of this because the transparent Liquitex Basics are going to look great on top of that white, and different on top of the other colors. So really thinking about that too as I'm working on these, like what parts am I, which pages am I gonna jelly print on top of? Am I not gonna jelly print on top of things? I'm just working fast here too. I mean, I'm working a little slower than what you're seeing on the screen, but I'm doing it pretty quickly too. I'm not letting myself think too much about what I'm doing. I'm just doing little curves and things. I'm getting every last bit of that white paint out of the tub. At some point here, I get the spatula out. And this paper is kind of bending and folding as I'm brushing on top of it because it's pretty floppy still. The paint has given it quite a bit more structure, and here I'm finishing up with a skull. I really like it on top of these record labels. In this, you can see that the whites, it covers well, but it's still, there's a little bit of transparency to it. Kind of building up some layers. And this isn't, I'm not trying to be perfect with this. Getting some teeth in there. Alright, so as we're doing this, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it gives you some ideas on maybe painting skulls, or maybe just getting some random papers and brushing some colors onto it. Use your stash. Get in there, use it or lose it, and make some collage papers and make some art. Alright, thanks everyone, and see you next time.